Welcome back to the Tip of the Ice-Burgh podcast, brought to you as always by the Hockey Podcast Network. We are joined right now by a very special guest. We welcome on Hunter Hodies of the Locked On Penguins podcast. How you doing, Hunter?
Not bad. The Penguins, hopefully they can bounce back tonight after that disappointing effort on Sunday, but it's a gorgeous spring day here, so I really can't complain.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to be in high hopes whenever you're looking out and it's sunny and 75. And of course, with the Penguins coming down the stretch towards playoff hockey, everybody starts to get in a little bit of a better mood. And with that stretch to playoff hockey comes the discussions of NHL awards. And that's actually where I want to start with you today, Hunter. I don't know if you listened to our Monday episode, but I did mention I was going to bring this question up to you. And the question being, is Sidney Crosby in the Hart picture in your eyes right now? And what are the chances that he is actually named league MVP this season?
I think he's in the picture, but I think it's basically Connor McDavid and then everyone else for the Hart. Seeing what he's been doing, I think he has almost 70-something points in 40 games or something like that. People try to spin it any way they want. It's Connor McDavid. I think Sid will probably finish in the top 5, rightfully so. He's having a really good season, averaging over a point per game. Again, I think if he finishes with over a point per game, I think he'll tie Wayne Gretzky for, 14 consecutive seasons with over a point per game. I think I saw that stat somewhere for his first 14, 15 years of his career. So I think you can maybe see him being a finalist, but for him to win the award, no, I think it's Connor McDavid's to lose.
It just bothers me seeing Connor McDavid getting kind of the highlights for that. So is Austin Matthews at this point, which, yes, They are having very impressive seasons. But as I mentioned on Monday's episode, you got to play in a real division for me to really think that you deserve an MVP title.
Yeah, I understand that. The Canadian division has not been that good this year. I mean, Toronto's been kind of running away with it, but Edmonton is right. I think everyone would want to see Matthews versus McDavid in a playoff series just for the hell of it. Yeah. But I still, even though he's beaten up on a lot of bad competition, I know the Flames play garbage hockey under Daryl Sutter. I know Ottawa's not that good. Montreal's been struggling. To put up, like I said, however, 70-something points in 40-something games is ridiculous. That's like 2010, 2011 stuff we saw from Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, before we move on to more questions on the league and the team, who do you think the finalists will be, the top 3?
I'm going to go, McDavid. I'm going to go, I almost went Draisaitl just because he's also been awesome, but I don't think they're going to put both of them there. I think you're probably going to see McDavid, Matthews, and I might as well just say Sid. I think he'll be a finalist, but he's not going to win it.
Totally fair. But now we can move into the team. So with all the injuries that have been happening and players are finally starting to skate again, what kind of impact will specifically Evgeny Malkin and Kasperi Kapanen have on this team upon their return, if it is, anytime soon?
Obviously it would be a huge impact for both those guys to come back. It allows depth to be a lot better. You can maybe reunite Jared McCann up with the Malkin and Kapanen because McCann was playing, I think, his best hockey. I mean, he's played some damn good hockey this season overall, but I think he was playing his best hockey when he was with Malkin and Kapanen. And then that allows you to have Jeff Carter at the center position with Jason Zucker and then Evan Rodriguez. I've been talking about that on my show. Then for Kapanen, I obviously understand why a lot of people were a bit down on that acquisition, giving up a top 15 pick for someone who struggled a lot last year. But he was playing his best hockey since 2018-19. You look at the data, even just use your eye test. He was great. And that allows also players like, Colton Sevier, who has had a couple good games in a row, but do people really want him in the playoff lineup? No. Does anyone want Mark Jankowski getting meaningful minutes? I've already been seeing him play 6-on-5 minutes at the end of the game or on the PK, which just makes me cringe every time I see him on the ice at this point. So I probably have I think it's like a Gamely tweet where I just say okay, Mike, what's the point here? But it allows him to get out. And then you really just have your big lineup question. Then when Tana comes back, you take a couple others out too. Your big lineup question, I think, is your 12th forward Radim Zohorna or is it Evan Rodriguez? I understand the pitches for both. For me, it's Rodriguez because I think he's played his best hockey these last 3 to 4 weeks, and I don't want to go off too short of a sample size with Zohorna. But it allows all these players coming back allows the Penguins to be, I think, the deepest team they've had since 2016 and 2017.
It's definitely something that the Penguins look for every year. Basically, they want to be one of the deepest teams to be able to roll 4 lines, because that is the only way that Sullivan's system works or has worked to its full potential. And we saw that in 2016 and in 2017, that depth was kind of the key cog that led them to the Stanley Cup. So it's interesting you say the 12th forward being down to Zahorna and Evan Rodriguez. I know a lot of people on Twitter would love to see Big Z kind of draw that spot, but Evan Rodriguez has had a subtly impressive stretch here where he is kind of the leader of the line that he has been on, whether that be the de facto second line before Carter's acquisition or even afterwards now with Aston Reese and Bluger. He's kind of been the energy guy on both of those lines.
Yeah, his playmaking ability has been much better these last few weeks than it was earlier on in the season. If you were to pose this question at the beginning of the season, I would go Zahorna. But, Rodriguez doesn't work in that top 6 role. Everyone dumped on Mike Sullivan for putting him on the top line, and rightfully so. Evan Rodriguez does not belong with Jake Ensel and Sidney Crosby. But if you put him on a line with someone like Jason Zucker, who I understand why fans are going after him a bit too. He's been struggling. He's overthinking stuff. But if you put him there, he can feed Zucker pucks and Zucker can finish them. And then Rodriguez himself, I don't like that he doesn't shoot as much, but I think these last 2 games you've seen that he's actually been putting more pucks to the net and getting to the high danger areas. You saw that goal that he had against Buffalo on Saturday, just an awesome shot, glove side over to Akarski. So he's fine for what he is. He's a depth player making $700K. He can give you help on the PK. He can put him in the bottom 6, and that's all you need. And this also helps that when hopefully the team gets Tanev back for the playoffs, they can roll the Aston Reese Bluger Tanev line out there as their 4th line. I mean, and they suppress shots at an elite level. So that helps a lot there too.
Hunter, I know right now the Pittsburgh Penguins are getting set to begin a 5-game homestand, 3 against the Devils, 2 against the Boston Bruins, which is going to be an important homestand for them considering how close the East Division is right now. But the Penguins haven't struggled at all, really, at home. They've only lost a handful of games, which begs the question, how important is it for this team to get home ice advantage for the playoffs this season?
It's very important, I would say. I read some people say, well, it doesn't matter. Who cares? There's not going to be full attendance. Trust me, people, it matters. Even if it's 40% capacity, which there's a chance, I don't know what Tom Wolfe is going to do in Pennsylvania in 3 to 4 weeks when the playoffs come around, but I think they're at 25% capacity right now overall. I think that change just came into focus last week or something. So we'll have to see if they make an attendance move for that, but it does matter. You can see how much better they play at PBG Paints Arena, against playing on the road. They seem more focused. They play more of a 200-foot game. It seems like they just, I don't know what it is, but they play so much better there. They're only 1 point out of second place, so it's very doable that they can get home ice. And it's big. I don't want them to have to go to Nassau Coliseum, which is one of the biggest dumps in America for hockey stadiums, and have to play 2 games there against the Islanders. We've seen what happens there in 2019. And yes, when you give me an opportunity to dump on the Coliseum, I will. I can't wait for them to get their new arena next season. I'd be much more comfortable playing those 2 games against the Islanders at PPG as opposed to going to Nassau. And the same with Washington as well. So yes, it is pretty damn important, and we'll have to see if they can make use of it. I mean, they still have 5 games left combined against New Jersey and Buffalo. They have 2 more against Philadelphia. For whatever reason, they've struggled against the Flyers this year. Don't really know why, but they should still be able to win. Out of the 11 games, like I said, about 7 of them are against the bottom 3 teams in the division. So the opportunity is there for the Penguins to not only secure a playoff spot, which they probably will anyway, but secure home ice, which they desperately need. Because the fans there, even if it's 40% capacity, they'll make a lot of noise, and that'll really help, I think, the team moving down the stretch.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying about Nassau, at least, because Nassau Coliseum is a different animal when it comes to the Islanders and playoffs, no less, because their fans have been just given a bad hand with them having to play at Barclays Center for how many games now over the past few years. It's a special moment for the Islanders in general whenever they're able to play at Nassau. So that really has an effect on them, I think.
Yeah, that'll be their last few games at Nassau, so they'll try to pack as many fans in there as they can, even as vaccinations are going up. But it's like I said, I can't stand that place. The Penguins have had a lot of bad luck there, and just if you look at the arena, it's like an AHL barn. So, like I said, I can't wait for them to move to Belmont next season.
So, barring any more injuries from this defensive core, we've seen enough all around the lineup. But do you think we see guys like Mark Friedman, Chad Ruhwedel, or Juuso Riikola anymore this season? Or is this set in stone, these 6 that we have now?
I think they're set in stone. Like you said, bearing an injury, which, cross your fingers because the Penguins this is ridiculous with all the injuries that they go through on a season basis. But yeah, I think this is the 6 that you're going to have. You're not going to break up Dumoulin Letang. That's one of the best top pairings in the league. Ever since they put Pettersson back with Marino, John has looked much more comfortable. I talked about this on the Locked On Penguins podcast. The Matheson-Marino pairing was never going to work because you have 2 players there that always want the puck. Hell, you have one player there that basically is a forward who great in the offensive zone, but not so good in the defensive zone. And then Marino also always wants the puck, but he's still great in the defensive zone. So that pairing never really worked with me. But now they put Pettersson back there. Their expected goals for percentage, I think, went up to 54% now, better than I think the Matheson CC one, which I'll get to in just a second. Mm-hmm. Pettersson hasn't had the best season. I mean, that's kind of being kind about it, I guess. He's making, I think, was his contract a little over $4 million per. We'll have to see what they're going to do with that in the offseason. But it's helped Marino get back to what he was doing last season in his rookie season, which, he had a lot of Calder Trophy love going until he had that broken jaw or cheekbone, whatever it was. And then with Matheson CC, that's a fine pairing. You have Matheson. He wants the puck a lot. He's been playing a lot better, I think, these last couple of weeks. And he's also the total chaos player. He's either going to do something so awesome or he's just going to barf all over himself in the defensive zone. And then with CC, I think he's made me eat crow. I think potentially you guys, if you guys had the same take as me going into the season about it, you deploy him in a good manner and you give him 3rd and 4th line matchups and he will eat them up. And that's exactly what he's been doing this year. So bearing any injuries, and let's say if those last 2 games against Buffalo don't matter and they're locked into the number 2 spot or number 1 spot in the division, you probably will not see the extras play again this season.
So you talked a little bit about the Penguins struggling playing on the road against the New York Islanders, especially in the Coliseum, which you called an AHL barn, and I absolutely love it. But between the Penguins and the other 3 teams that are now in the playoffs, because we can imagine that those are the 3 teams that are going to clinch a playoff spot, which do you think the Pens match up with the best going into a first-round matchup?
It's a good question. I think I'm going to say Washington. That's going to sound weird because they just got Mantha, and he's been lighting it up. I think he has 4 goals in his first 4 games. But Pittsburgh has played Washington really well this year, and that's not to say they haven't played the Islanders well too. I mean, they went 6-2 against them. That's the best I've seen them play against the Islanders since I think before Barry Trotz got there, to be honest with you all. But I really like the matchup with the Capitals. I think Pittsburgh is deeper than them, even with Mantha there, and taking Jacob Vrana out, who was basically turning into a Penguins killer at this point. I think he had like 7 goals in 16 games against them, if I'm not mistaken. And then you look at their defense, I would take Pittsburgh's defense over them 100 times out of 100. Sure, John Carlson's awesome in the offensive zone, but after that, who do you really have? Dmitry Orlov? Okay, he's not bad. I mean, Justin Schultz, he's been better, but I mean, you're really going to trust Justin Schultz a lot in a playoff series. Zdeno Chara is a bit up there. Nick Jensen's, I guess, is okay. And then with the goaltending, which goalie of theirs is going to start? Like, that's the big thing. I think they're just a little bit overrated. That's not to say that they're not a good team. I absolutely think they are. And they can definitely come out of the East Division, but I still think Pittsburgh matches up with them the best. Like I said, I think I would take Pittsburgh's forward depth over them as well, especially in the bottom 6 if they are fully healthy. After that, I would go the Islanders. It's basically like a 1A, 1B. Then it's Boston, just because for whatever reason, going back to 2013, I'm sure you all watched that embarrassing sweep, and I was only 15, 16 years old, something like that. So they just give the Penguins fits. I don't know what it is. I've never understood it. But that's a team I would like to avoid in round 1, though I think at some point I still would like to see the Penguins actually beat them in a playoff series, because that's the last big rival that Sid and Gino have not beaten in their career in a playoff series.
I never really thought of it that way. Actually, they haven't.
Yep. They beat the Rangers,
Yep.
Flyers, Islanders,
Capitals a bunch.
Yep.
Early
Yeah.
Senators after that first loss.
They beat the little brother Columbus Blue Jackets, who, they like to say that's a rivalry, but like I said, that's a big brother, little brother thing. So it's basically just been Boston.
That's good. Well, how do you see the East Division finishing up in terms of standings from 1 to all of them, all 8?
I think it's going to be, I think Washington wins it. I think Pittsburgh takes home ice. I think you see the Islanders in third, and I think you see Boston fourth. There's a little bit of hope with the Rangers right now, but they also just beat the Devils 4 times in a row. So, I mean, we'll have to see if the Penguins can do that now.
Yeah.
So, if the Rangers can do it, so can Pittsburgh. I think the Rangers do get fifth, though. I think they're going to miss out by a little bit. I think it's just too little, too late with them. Though I will say this: that's going to be a scary team next season. That is a playoff team next year. Adam Fox is number 2 on my Norris ballot right now. I have McAvoy winning it, but I think Adam Fox deserves all the Norris voting he can get. And, we have Panarin up there, and Zibanejad and Hegel and Lafreniere might take a next step. That's going to be a really scary team. At 6, I guess I'll put Philadelphia, even though that was a nice collapse that they had the last basically month and a half. Carter Hart took away their playoff hopes and just said, the hell with that. And then New Jersey, and then I go Buffalo. But I will say, Buffalo has been playing a lot better ever since they traded Taylor Hall and Brandon Montour and Eric Stahl. I think they've won 6 of their last 11 games. So they're playing more loose. That's when a team is most dangerous, I think. They have nothing to lose. They just beat the Capitals in Washington right before they beat the Penguins. They beat Boston. They beat Philly twice. So I still see the Sabres finishing there, but, it also would not surprise me if they actually leapfrog the Devils.
That's what I was about to say. The Sabres are right now, as we record this, 3 points back of the Devils, and we're playing New Jersey. And New Jersey's got a game in hand, but still, being 3 points back to a team that we thought might not hit 10 wins all season, that's not a good look on New Jersey's part. And Buffalo's just playing without a care anymore, so they might Buffalo themselves out of a draft pick, but so be it.
Yeah, New Jersey's got to get poor Jack Hughes some help this offseason. I see him having a mini Nathan McKinnon breakout at some point. I'm not saying it's going to be 100 points in like his 4th or 5th season, but you can see the talent is there. But I also think not having Nico Hischier there for like almost all season. I know he's back now, but that's been a real killer for him.
And also, I think the COVID-19 layoff for him also really affected Jack Hughes. But, I mean, when he's played the Penguins, he's looked pretty good, scored a couple of really nice goals. So you definitely see why he was a first overall pick, and you definitely see what the Devils see in him. So we'll see going forward. I know that's a very young team. They've had a good season out of Ty Smith, the defenseman. I know he's going to miss Tuesday's game with an injury, but they've had a lot of good performances. Igor Sharangovich kind of springs to mind, but not happening for them this season, unfortunately. The Penguins will see what they can do these last couple of games against them. You mentioned his name earlier. I want to bring it up. Jeff Carter, what have you seen from him since he was traded here at the deadline? Because what we've seen from this show is a lot of jump and a lot of just energy brought to a second line there.
Yeah, there's been a lot of jump from him. He's also really good at getting to the high danger scoring areas. You can tell, I think, his first goal is coming. And honestly, it might be tonight. I'll throw that prediction out there. He's going to score in Tuesday night's game. He's getting very close. And his underlying numbers have been really good too. I think the expected goal share with him on the ice is around 65, 66%. The Corsi with the shot attempts, 66, 67%. So he's winning the battle with the numbers in the offensive zone. And he's just been a great fit with Jason Zucker on that line. And also while playing with Jared McCann as well. People compared this to the Patrick Marleau acquisition I saw when it first happened. Please stop. I don't know where that came from. I understand he's 36, 37 years old, but Patrick Marleau kind of skated like a corpse in the return to play last year, which, maybe he played a couple nice games, but it did not matter when they lost to Montreal. So there's definitely a lot more jump. You can tell how fast he is. He's good in the faceoff circle. You can put him on the second power play unit. You can put him on the PK unit, even though PK unit is, let's just say, hashtag not good, as they say on Twitter. So, and at 5v5, like I said, he's winning his matchups, and just put him out there against anyone, and he's just been great. So, like I said, I think he's going to score tonight, and he's one of the best volume shooters in the league too. You've been seeing that these last few games, so I'm really excited to see what he can do tonight, and especially when the team gets fully healthy.
Yeah, so I'm so glad you actually also mentioned Patrick Marleau, because my question I had was, what is your favorite Patrick Marleau moment from his extensive Penguins tenure?
Just when the intro video. That's it, mainly. Oh, no, he had one goal, I think.
He did have one goal, yeah.
That's my favorite memory. I think that was the line. It was the Marleau, McCann, Hornquist line in the return to play. Mm-hmm. And I've never seen a more bad line, I think, just in the playoffs. It was just utterly terrible, I think, was the main thing I saw. So nice goal, though.
Yeah, did anyone else notice how in like the video montages about Marleau, how often they showed him in a Penguins jersey, though? One of the ones I picked up on, it was like the second clip they showed. It was him walking out in a Penguins jersey. It's the wildest thing. But those 8 games, really meant something, I guess. Again, it's a great story, but still. But shout out to Patrick Marleau.
Childhood team, I guess, I think that was his childhood team or something.
Yeah,
he said last year. So I guess that's why.
Yeah, that was kind of the story of it. I mean, it's just very weird because there was a ton of clips of it, it seemed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did see that. That was weird.
His 0.45% of his games played were here in Pittsburgh. So that was definitely a big chunk of his career for sure.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
Well, Hunter, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you giving us your time. We want to give you this time now to just plug whatever you have going on. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media and what's coming up for you on the Locked On Penguins podcast.
Yeah, so I do the Locked On Penguins podcast 5 days a week during the season, 3 days a week when it's off season. I'm in the process of editing today's episode. I did a crossover with Locked On Devils, Trey Matthews. He does a great job over there with, it's not easy to watch the Devils on a nightly basis and do a podcast on them. So I have to commend him for that. I also do some writing for Last Word on Hockey. I did a piece on Jeff Carter last week. I think I have a couple things coming up with regards to some articles. And then also on Tuesday night, I'm going to be doing the Pittsburgh post game with Matt Geica of Pittsburgh Hockey Now. A lot of fun to do those. And I think that's mainly it. You can follow my Twitter at Hunter Hodies. I live tweet all the Penguins games. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you all so much for having me on.
Of course, man. And we can't wait for the Penguins to get around into the playoffs. And we'll obviously be getting together again to discuss all that happens in the postseason this year.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I will repay you all when you all come on Locked On Penguins. That'll be the next time.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, man. But thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely.